So many of you out there are concerned about the September update for the Spark, and frankly, I think that you really should be. Now, of course, this update for the Spark is coming in September, and so although it applies directly to the Spark, it also affects other DJI products as well. Basically, I think that they're forcing you into updating, and I don't think that's fair. One, because we shouldn't have to be forced to update a product that we already bought. And secondly, I think that there's alternative things that DJI is trying to accomplish by doing so. Now, of course, they force us into doing this by saying, if you don't update, your drone won't fly. It'll be grounded, basically. You have to update. Now, DJI has been claiming that a lot of these updates have been for safety, and I really don't think so. And I've been doing a little bit of digging, and I found some concerning things that every DJI drone owner should be aware of. So before we even kind of look at some other details and everything that's going on with this, we need to look at the actual company or the word DJI. Now, at first I thought DJI was just kind of a random assortment of letters like IBM or APR or, other 3-letter terms that people just kind of put together. But it turns out that DJI actually does stand for something. And once I broke it down, it was kind of scary actually, knowing that the product that I'm flying around with that I think is so great actually stands for something pretty bad. So let's break that down. So the first letter is D, that's the 4th letter of the alphabet. But when you say D, what does it really sound like? E, D, E. So really the first letter is actually E, although they say, D. D really sounds like E. The second letter is J, which is the 10th letter of the alphabet. And when you convert the 10th letter of the alphabet to Roman numerals, that ends up being VI. So if you're not familiar with Roman numerals, basically it's the numbers that, and like whatever the people used to use like way back in the day. But number 10 in Roman numerals is VI. I know there's been some confusion also when I was looking it up. It also looked like X, but X is right next to V, so I'm pretty certain that this is accurate. And the last thing is I. Now, what does capital I really look like? L. That's right. Capital I looks like L. And I don't think that any of this was done on accident. So when you break DJI down, it actually says evil. So the company that you know and love and fly drones around, and handheld gimbals and whatever else is actually evil. So I know it's kind of crazy because in a lot of movies they try to say like, oh, the company, you flip it around, whatever, and it says, some horrible thing. This is actually true, and this is real life, people. This is something that you are keeping in your own house. The very next part of this that I kind of came up with and determined is the updates. Now, I really think that DJI, although they're a very large company and they're obviously very powerful because of everything that they've been able to accomplish, I think that they still have trouble decoding certain things. And so when we download updates, basically it's kind of like torrenting. So they're sending out a little bit of a small piece of the puzzle to everybody. So when you get that on your phone, now your phone is sitting there trying to crack whatever code it is that DJI is trying to decipher or figure out. Now, I don't know what they're doing with that information, but I do know is that, so you download an update, now all of a sudden your phone is going through this, and a lot of you have noticed battery issues after updates and everything, and I think this is why. Because when DJI sends out this update, now you have a little bit of this puzzle on your phone, and the phone is sitting there trying to crack it, which means that it's using up power, which means you have poor battery life. So once that's done, then of course when you update again, it sends off this little piece of the puzzle back to DJI. Now, I don't know what it is that they're doing with this information or why they're doing it, but I do know that by splitting up this complicated algorithm or problem that they've got, and they're sending it to everybody who's flying their drones. Now they have, instead of just using like their home office with 500 computers, now they have access to millions of computers, desktops, laptops, tablets, phones, all of this, and now we're doing whatever their work is that they want done. So they don't even need to decipher or crack anything at their home base. Basically, they're sending these updates out and we're doing the work for them without even realizing. So the other part of this puzzle that I was kind of looking at and figuring out is the batteries. So a lot of you are familiar with, it's not good to leave the battery fully charged, or if you do, the battery will automatically discharge. I honestly think that DJI has figured out a battery chemical or compound or whatever it is for their batteries where they don't actually need to discharge. But what happens is when you fully charge a battery, and again, I don't know what information they're collecting, but I think the battery is actually collecting information, and then it's using the battery power, because it's a battery, to send out updates through your router. Now, I don't know what updates they're doing or what information they're collecting, but I really don't think that batteries need to be discharged. Like my car battery always stays at 100%, and when I drive it, it's always being charged. So the same thing with the drone batteries. I don't think it needs to be at 100% and then discharge. I think what's happening is we're charging our batteries, and then as it's sending out updates or collecting, who knows what, maybe it's somehow recording information or listening to what we're saying or hacking our home, networks. I don't know, but the information that it's collecting is then being broadcasted, and it's being uploaded, through your router and going back to DJI. So again, I don't know what it is that they're doing with it, but this is the real reason I think that batteries are discharging on their own. I don't think it has anything to do with the battery compound. I mean, this is 2017 and we have really good technology. Batteries needing to be, charged and then discharged, I just cannot believe. And I think it's because of the battery updating DJI, home office with some sort of information that we're collecting for them. So the other thing that kind of led me to this was a lot of people, when they're updating, the battery comes up and it will only light up 2 bars, to like the 2 middle lights or whatever, signifying that there's a problem. So I think just kind of like your phone, how sometimes you have to reconnect it to the home network, I think that's what happens with these batteries, that they somehow get disconnected or something happens with the router. I don't know, maybe if, the United States has figured out how to block this and they're helping, prevent data leaks and such. But I think that the battery gets blocked from your home network. And so that's why you have to redo things through either your computer or try to re-update the software again so that it can get the password again for your router, log in, and again start sending out information that it's collecting. So ultimately, you don't need to update your Spark or your Mavic or Inspire or Osmo or any other DJI product that you have. But keep in mind, if you don't, obviously you're going to be grounded, obviously for safety reasons. Again, until someone smarter than me is able to decipher this and maybe look at what their router is doing when this information is being sent out and can find, figure out like, hey, here's what DJI is really doing. We're not really going to know. In the meantime, of course, I still enjoy flying my drones and it hasn't, affected me personally. So I think I will continue updating my stuff, but knowing that my information is either being shared or my devices are being used to decipher or crack some code for DJI. So of course, use that information as you will. Hopefully with this video, we can get some more people investigating this and figuring out what's going on and figure out what DJI is really up to.